Top 10 Wealthiest CEOs, Part 1. CEOs have a huge impact on organizational success. When corporations succeed, their CEOs are usually credited for company performance. When they fail, sometimes in colossal fashion, their CEOs are blamed and unceremoniously removed. People discuss this complex topic, frequently emphasizing the critical role of leadership in organizational success and failure. But just how important is it for organizations to get the right person in charge? What is the value of an effective CEO? Luckily for you, Fortune Fastlaner, we've produced a list of the top 10 wealthiest CEOs. Let us answer the questions as we unfold these top 10 wealthiest CEOs and learn from them. Who knows, you can be the next wealthiest CEO. Ready? Let's get this video started. Several management scholars have studied this question, often using different datasets and methods. Here, we review the major papers on this topic and draw conclusions based on their findings. Some of the most well-known personality traits of CEOs are those related to their behavioral style, ability to work in teams, and sense of personal power. Personality traits predict who becomes a leader and which personality type is effective in leading others. With strong team cohesion and personality traits like a desire to interact with people, it can improve company performance. Bright side characteristics such as interpersonal sensitivity and desire to connect have been shown to impact overall firm performance. Conversely, dark side characteristics, example narcissism, have negative consequences for leader decisions, which make organizations vulnerable to failure in the long term. Finally, company CEOs with a bright and dark side personality predict ethical misconduct, fraud, and sexual misconduct that put companies at risk with persistent reputational consequences. Researchers in the 1980s found that CEOs had a great impact on the stock of companies and could affect it regardless of size. More recently, research has started to focus on CEO performance. Research estimates that CEOs are responsible for at least 25% of a company's market value, controlling for industry effects. As the field learns to take context into account in its findings, the true impact of CEOs may be greater than what we have been told. Of course, not giving the CEO too much latitude to make strategic decisions can hinder success as well. CEOs need room to steer around obstacles and set new strategic directions. We have created the perfect tool for CEOs. When CEOs come to selecting the right leader, they already know their company is worth 10 to 20%. They are in a spot where they can make a significant financial impact on the company, and choosing poorly can set them back several steps. With decades of research and thousands of studies on personality tests, sources can show you how to hire and develop the right team for your company. Finding promising employees, developing them into leaders, and finding a great CEO is key to long-term company success. In fact, CEO agreeableness, or the ability to build quality relationships across all levels of organization, helps with worker cohesion, engagement, and a company's financial growth. Now, let us talk with these top 10 wealthiest CEOs. Number 1. Elon Musk. Net worth $198 billion. Elon Musk is a South African-born Canadian man, inventor, and investor. Elon has a net worth of $198 billion. With his many hats and constant work, he recently became recognized for being the CEO and CTO of SpaceX, CEO and Chief Product Architect of Tesla Motors, as well as Chairman of Solar City. He holds the record for being the richest person in modern history. In October 2021, Tesla's market cap broke $1 trillion for the first time. SpaceX raised money at a $100 billion valuation. At this point, Elon Musk had about $300 billion net worth. Back in 1999, by partnering with Compaq Computer and creating X.com, Musk used his first successful company to create Zip2 Corporation, a website offering city guides online. After the year of 2000, Zip2 Corporation was acquired by Compaq for $307 million and $34 million. Musk also co-founded PayPal in 1999 after X.com was acquired by eBay. The following year, PayPal was acquired for a whopping $1.5 billion through eBay's buyout of the company. Musk set up SpaceX in 2002 with the intention of establishing a corporation that would create spacecraft for commercial space travel. Within 8 years, SpaceX had established itself, and NASA awarded the company the contract to transport cargo to the International Space Station. Next, they plan to take travelers into space. Tesla Motors, an automobile company dedicated to producing affordable, mass-market electric cars, was founded by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning in 2003. Elon Musk, Ian Wright, and J.B. Straubel were Tesla's first employees and retroactively named co-founders. Tesla Motors had a $226 million stake taken by Daimler, and in 2013, the company's CEO started development for the Hyperloop, intended for travel at speeds greater than 700 miles per hour. Musk predicts that the project could take from 7 to 10 years to complete. When it comes to real estate, Elon Musk presently holds enormous amounts of assets in California, with a villa nearly 50 acres in size located in Hillsborough, an old home he bought for $23.364 million. He once owned 6 homes in the Bel Air neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. In 2020, Elon stunned the world with his decision to sell off his worldly possessions. True to his word, he proceeded to sell these houses off one by one until he sold 4 at once in December of that year. Number 2. Jeff Bezos. Net worth $130 billion. Jeff Bezos is an American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and space explorer who is probably best known for creating Amazon.com, as well as the founder, head, president, and chairman of the board of Amazon.com. He was also considered the richest man in history without interruption between October 2017 to January 2021. As of this moment, Jeff Bezos has a net worth of $130 billion. Jeff Bezos is an Amazon shareholder with a significant amount of influence, and he has been a stockholder since its earliest days. The settlement's net worth drop hit Jeff Hardy, but it has greatly increased his value as both a share owner and key influencer in today's tech giants like Google. Jeff Bezos was largely on the periphery of wealth during most of the 2000s. Amazon stock began to skyrocket in late 2014, quickly making Jeff worth $500 billion. In less than 2 years, his net worth tripled, with his net worth and stock at an all-time high in July 2015. On July 27, 2017, Bezos surpassed Bill Gates as the richest person on Earth. In September 2018, Amazon's market cap topped $1 trillion before he divorced, so he still owned 80 million shares of that stock that were valued at the record high of $170 billion. Number 3. Steve Ballmer. Net worth $92 billion. Steve Ballmer is an American businessman and sports team owner who earned a net worth of $92 billion. At Microsoft, his most significant contribution was the development of Windows and the expansion to online services. As the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, he has contributed in other areas as well, and his high net worth makes him one of the wealthiest individuals on Earth. Most of Ballmer's wealth comes from his ownership in Microsoft. The CEO of Microsoft, Steve Ballmer, has accrued his vast wealth from the vast majority of shares issued by the company. He has sold over 3 billion shares of the stock movement at a value high of $4.5 billion and still drives a Ford in honor of his father, who was also a Ford manager. In 2000, CEO Bill Gates was replaced by Ballmer, and the former earned a salary of $1.35 million. In August 2013, CEO Ballmer announced that he would be retiring in 12 months. On February 4 of 2014, Satya Nadella replaced Ballmer as CEO. Number 4. Larry Ellison. Net worth $88 billion. Larry Ellison was an American billionaire who made this enormous fortune with software giant Oracle. Ellison founded Oracle and also served as CEO for a time before leaving in September 2014. Ellison is one of the richest people in the world behind other tycoons like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Bernard Arnault. For a brief time in the 1990s, Larry Page was the richest person on the planet when his net worth topped Bill Gates. As Microsoft stock slumped due to the Department of Justice antitrust investigation. At various times throughout his career, Larry has been the highest paid executive in the world, earning north of $100 million annually. On March 12, 1986, Larry Ellison took Oracle public. Coincidentally, that was just one day before Bill Gates took Microsoft public. At the time of the IPO, Larry owned 39% of Oracle, and by the end of day one, Oracle's market cap was $270 million, $100.53 million for Larry. The first trading day for Oracle was a huge success. Larry Ellison, one of the founders and largest shareholders of Oracle Corporation, found himself nearing bankruptcy in 1990. After losing about 60% of its market capital, he had only a few months to live off the cash left in the bank. After being downgraded from $500 million to $150 million for a personal net worth, Larry Ellison was almost ousted from the company. Number 5. Mark Zuckerberg. Net worth $70 billion. Mark Zuckerberg is an American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and an online publisher. As one of the top 100 richest people in the world, he has a net worth of $70 billion. The head of Facebook for the last decade, he spent most of his life at the top of his game, first in school and now around the world. Likewise, as of February 2018, Mark Zuckerberg's net worth is estimated to be $71.5 billion. Most of these millions are attributed to his shares in Facebook. In total, Zuckerberg has 400 million shares of Facebook stock divided up into different classes with varying voting privileges. Out of the 12 million Class A shares he owns, Zuckerberg has 365 million Class B shares, which is roughly 81% of all the B shares. Through those Class B supervoting shares, Zuckerberg has 53% control over the company and can control co-founder Dustin Moskovitz' Class B voting rights, around 58% ownership in the company overall. Mark Zuckerberg saw a net worth of $100 billion hit him on the 7th of August of 2020. Next few months, his net worth steadily rose while Facebook stock held steady. On January 1st, 2022 though, Mark saw his net worth drop by 40% as the company's stock dropped 50% by April of 2022. His wealth has fallen to $65 billion. Overall, this was the only person in that time period to lose more than $60 billion in wealth. Number 6. Michael Dell. Net worth $52 billion. Michael Dell is an American business executive, technology entrepreneur, and founder of Dell Incorporated. Dell started a computer repair shop when he abandoned his unfinished medical degree to start a company that sold computers that grew into Dell. The company has over $49 billion in revenue. As of this video, Michael owns approximately half of the company's shares. Michael Dell continues to serve as CEO and chairman at Dell Technologies, which is one of the world's largest computer infrastructure companies. Despite Michael Dell's vast personal wealth, his net worth is not entirely tied to Dell Technologies. He owns a large stake in Dell and has interest in real estate, private equity, stocks, bonds, more. MSD Capital manages $16 billion in assets, with roughly $12 billion of it coming from Michael. Number 7. Phil Knight. Net worth $40 billion. Philip Knight was born on February 24, 1938, in Portland, Oregon. He was raised with his parents, Laura and Bill, who were later newspaper publishers of a law firm before raising him in Eastern Moreland. After high school at Cleveland High School in Portland, Knight attended the University of Oregon and ran track while he served as a sports reporter with the Oregon Daily Emerald. Phil Knight is an American businessman, sports fan, and philanthropist who has a $40 million net worth. Phil is best known for founding Nike Incorporated in the 1960s and still one of its largest shareholders. Following his graduation from the University of Oregon, Knight enlisted in the United States Army, serving for 1 year of active duty before 7 years in the Army Reserve. Following his military service, Knight enrolled at Standard Graduate School of Business. He graduated with a master's degree in business administration in 1962 and traveled to Japan, where he discovered Tiger brand running shoes while on a study abroad trip. He secured international distribution rights for the shoes with Mr. Onitsuka himself set up a meeting between him. While he was waiting for Tiger samples to be sent to Portland, Knight took a job as a certified public accountant. Then, with Price Warehouse, he also taught accounting courses at the University of Oregon and the University of Maryland. However, after he received his Tiger shoes, he sent samples to his former track coach, Bill Bowerman, who actually placed an order for them. Knight and Bowerman founded Blue Ribbon Sports on January 25, 1964, which is now Nike. Eventually, Knight switched his focus from writing to selling shoes out of his car at track meets. By 1969, he was able to quit his job and work for Blue Ribbon Sports full-time. In 1971, the company got its famous swoosh logo from a graphic designer. In 2004, Knight resigned as CEO but stayed on with Nike as the chairman of the board. In June 2015, Knight announced he was stepping down as chairman with plans to retire from the board in June 2016. Knight was also the person who helped Leica get started. Leica Studios, an animation company, experienced growth in the late 1990s, and therefore, they needed outside investors. Knight took on 15% share in the company in 1998, and then his son joined as an animator. Eventually, Knight bought Will Vinton Studios and rebranded it as Leica Studios in 2003. And then, their first feature film was Coraline. Travis has since been promoted to be CEO of Leica. Number 8. Jack Ma. Net worth $34 billion. Jack Ma is a Chinese businessman and investor who has a net worth of $34 billion. He is best known as the co-founder and former executive chairman of the multinational conglomerate Alibaba Group. Jack has at times been the richest person in China and the richest person on the continent of Asia. Also known as Ma Yun, Jack Ma was born on September 10th in Hangzhou, China. He loved learning English from a young age and conversing with English speakers at the Hangzhou International Hotel, where he worked for 9 years. There is one of these people who gave Ma the nickname Jack. In order to attend university in China and graduate, Ma struggled to complete the Chinese entrance exam. It took him 4 years to pass, and he graduated with a degree in English from Hangzhou Teachers Institute in 1988. Back in Hangzhou, Ma founded Alibaba, a China-based business-to-business marketplace site, in his apartment and won $25 million venture capital investment. Alibaba has grown exponentially over the last 15 years to be the largest e-commerce site in the world, larger than Amazon and eBay combined. The company now has 280 million active customers from over 240 countries who have transacted just under $300 billion worth of goods and services since June 2013. Alibaba has 6 active subsidiaries, including Alibaba.com, Tmall.com, eTao, Alibaba Cloud Computing, Taobao Marketplace, and Yahoo China. He was honored for business honors throughout his career, including being named to Fortune magazine's 25 Most Powerful People in Asia list in 2005, and being chosen by Businessweek as Business Person of the Year in 2007. He announced on September 10th that he would be stepping down as executive chairman of Alibaba Group Holding, with his position taken over by Daniel Zhang. Number 9. Eric Schmidt. Net worth $23 billion. Eric Schmidt is an American businessman and philanthropist who has a net worth of $23 billion. Eric Schmidt was famously bought in by Larry Page and by Sergey Brin to help Google with its IPO. He led the company for 10 years, until 2011 when he was replaced by CEO Larry Page and moved back to the position of chairman. Eric served as Google's chairman and technical advisor through 2020. Eric started his career in a variety of different places, including Bell Labs and the Palo Alto Research Center. He has also shared senior positions at Zilog and Sun Microsystems. Duties include spending time as the Director of Software Engineering at Sun Microsystems, as well as serving as the CEO for Novel. Larry Page and Sergey Brin of Google interviewed Eric Schmidt right before their company was going public in the pre-IPO era. Why he left Google in 2011? He received a $100 million equity award. When Eric was originally employed by Google, he had a salary of $250,000 plus 14.3 million shares, which were worth $0.30 per share. He also received a 426,892 share stake in their preferred stock, with a price tag of $2.34 per share. He worked as the head of IBM's executive committee until December 2017, when he announced that he was stepping down. He technically continued to work at IBM as a technical advisor through 2020. In 2006, Eric famously sat on the board of directors at Apple Incorporated. The company was in the process of developing what eventually became the iPhone and iOS operating system that Steve Jobs has been a part of. But this normal pattern of behavior changed when he learned that Google had initiated talks to acquire Android in 2009. With these new developments, Steve kicked Eric off Apple's board. During his time at Google, Eric Schmidt was involved in a recruiting scandal that was the subject of a high-tech employee's antitrust litigation case. The case resulted in $415 million being paid by Google, Intel, Apple, and Adobe to its employees. In one particularly infamous incident from the litigation, Steve Jobs sent an email to Schmidt complaining about a recruiter from Google reaching out to an Apple employee. Number 10. Rupert Murdoch, net worth $20 billion. Rupert Murdoch is an Australian media mogul who earns his $20 billion net worth from building media outlets. Rupert Murdoch has been influential in the United States and around the world for building media companies such as Fox News, The Wall Street Journal, The Daily Telegraph, and HarperCollins. Rupert Murdoch started with a small newspaper in Adelaide before expanding his business to other international markets. In 1985, he became an American citizen for business reasons. Rupert Murdoch has on occasion been named by Forbes as the wealthiest person in the world. In 1996, he exceeded his previous homes and became 85th richest person in the world, with a net worth of over $3 billion. He also owns 800 companies across 50 countries that have a total worth of over $5 billion. Rupert Murdoch was the 54th richest person in total at $5.4 billion in 2003. However, a few years later, his ranking among billionaires dropped to 117th with a net worth of $6.3 billion. In 2019, Disney paid $71 billion for 21st Century Fox, with Rupert Murdoch receiving about $12 billion in stocks. Rupert has 6 children and about $10 billion in the sale. This money was given to both him and his children. Rupert Murdoch also became a 39% owner of the newly formed Fox Corporation. In 2020, he would receive a 39% ownership stake in the newly formed Fox Corporation, worth around $4 billion. That's it for this video, Fortune Fastlaner. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and if you feel like we've delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person as a token of your appreciation for the hard work we put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you actually take action that you'll start to see results. See you soon!